right, get me over there. Oh, they're gonna kill him. It's too soon. Maybe I gotta go after Haku. Man, I wish I was better at this. So let's do... I got him! Yes! There it is, bro. Yes, sir! I'm gonna really try to not crash out here, but it is gonna be very difficult. Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships and the aircraft carrier test. This time we're taking a look at the CV perspective. We're going to be playing the carriers and I'm going to show you just how insane this rework actually is. But first we got to go over the objectives, the goals that Wargaming have set out for this rework and contextualize our criticism around those. Have Wargaming actually accomplished what they've set out to? To start with, they wanted to reduce spotting overall and remove unintentional spotting by aircraft, as well as make AA more impactful while ensuring aircraft carriers remain viable in battles. So we're going to be looking out for those things. As well as they want to make the new design more intuitive, better informing ships when planes pose a threat to them and when they don't, improving interactions between ships and aircraft, making them easier to understand. Now we'll see if they manage to do that. Keep your eye out for if they accomplish these set out goals. It's important to realize there are 3 modes here. We've just entered Recon mode, where we can plane spot people still. In travel mode, you cannot plane spot, so you notice the Kremlin is undetected here. But we're not actually taking any plane damage. Our planes are immune to AA here. It doesn't take a lot to understand where enemy ships are going. So if we just dip down, much like submarines used to dolphin up and down to be immune, they still can kind of do that. Certainly the newer ones have that ability brought back to them. Your planes can dolphin in and out of recon mode, and that allows you to get a very nice bearing for the direction of enemy ships. And then in your travel mode, you can be immune to AA and walk over to them and deal massive damage. Notice we're also not taking damage here. The rest of our squad, when we're going in for a strike, takes no AA damage. So while there's some nice benefits to surface ship players, your AA directly targets the squad that's dealing damage to you. Notice how we're just able to have our entire squad up in the air over this Kremlin, and there's nothing he can do about it. So we just walk in and drop. We walk in and drop. And the key here is we're able to perfectly line up a drop, start that drop 3 kilometers from his ship, and only take a little bit of plane damage. Yes, they shoot down planes. Yes, your strike is not getting a full power one out there unless you have this heal active. But we're still getting 2 squads. We're still getting 2 planes to drop their ordnance here. Don't mind the replay bug here. We're actually getting pretty good lock on here. The aiming system in the replay is a little bit bugged. We've already done nearly 60k damage to this Kremlin. Notice he actually has his automatic AA defense active. That's what those red tracers or orange tracers are for. You're going to notice throughout this video, please pay attention to this, that automatic AA system really doesn't deter me at all when I'm actually dropping people, because you can start your drop so close to the enemy ships. That's really disappointing. I'm actually going to make a misplay here with my FDR, and I'm going around this Ohio. You're going to notice this a lot. It takes a lot of training to get used to this, but you should ideally be heading straight for the enemy ship you want to target, and then turning around as close as you possibly can to them to reduce the time traveling. But here's an Ohio with his automatic AA active. This is on the CV test server, so we should probably assume people are running full AA builds. We use our heal here, and he's not shooting down planes. He's not shooting down planes. We get all 12 torpedoes off at him, and we're immune to AA yet again. This poor Ohio. I mean, this is just shockingly bad game design. There is almost no gameplay here. I would say for a single player game, this is already so bad and boring that I wouldn't be interested in playing it. Yet this is a PvP experience. It's not a computer, AI, character, and NPC on the other end of these drops. It's a real player trying to interact with the battle, and there is no interaction here. And they actually specifically talk about this in their plans for the rework. They talk about the preparation time is required to prevent carriers from simply starting an attack right above the ship to bypass AA fire. They talk about that, and yet look at us. We're walking up 3 kilometers away from these ships and starting our attack run. They only have 5 seconds or so, maybe 10 at the most, to have their AA impact the strike before it gets launched. This is not okay. We're flying over Monmouth. Keep in mind, we would be losing almost our entire squad for doing this. This unlocks so many more drop opportunities for carriers because they don't have to worry about clumped up AA ships. I was worried about the mechanic for dodging AA fire, or clumped up AA that they talked about would be slightly less effective. I was worried about that. But even if that's not taking an effect, or it is a minor effect like they've said, it doesn't matter because you do not have to worry about clumped up AA at all, since you can fly over and get an optimal drop angle no matter what. And you start your attack so close. We're turning around within Shikishima AA right now, by the way, as well as Z42. It doesn't matter. Keep that in mind. Watch for that throughout this entire video. How many times my entire plane squadron is within AA range. By the way, Shikishima has his automatic AA defenses active. And Shikishima has good AA, some of the better AA at tier 10 as far as battleships go. It's not the Yamato AA, it gets the Harugumo turrets for secondaries, and those help out a ton with its AA. Although now that I'm thinking about it, that was more focused around flak clouds. Yeah, Shikishima was all about having an insane number of flak clouds. So maybe it's bad again, because of course they've removed flak. There is no skill check here. All that is happening here is an aura damage. I mean, there is flak visually, I guess, but it doesn't do anything anymore. All this is aura damage. So it's a consistent, sustained DPS. And if you know that, all that remains is a simple math calculation of, is there enough sustained DPS to nullify my strike? And if you're building your ships, or maybe you're playing an FDR, which does have the best HP on the planes, and you specifically build purely for plane HP, well then you can rig that math in your favor. And suddenly you're able to strike through automatic AA without any issues at all, even into other carriers, which have the best AA defenses in the entire game. It is shockingly poor design. There is no interaction here. In fact, I wonder if carriers will be played less simply because there's no gameplay. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know necessarily why people play carriers. I personally don't play them that much. But if I'm able to do this within a couple days of testing on this rework server, what's going to happen when people who actually play these classes and play them well get to optimizing them? This is scary stuff. This is scary stuff. The automatic AA defense was intended as a way to reduce carriers' ability to focus on one target. Are you seeing anything that prevents me from focusing on one target? Notice the dolphining in and out of Recon mode here, and I only had 1 second in it. I think this might be some tech here. Initially, you should wait a couple seconds to recharge some travel mode or some Recon mode on your carrier before launching planes. You get over the cap, you dip down into Recon mode to get a silhouette, make sure you have last known positions turned on of enemy ships on the minimap, then you know exactly where they are, and you're going to notice this throughout the video. It's so easy to predict where enemy ships are going to go, but because your planes fly like 10 times faster or nearly 10 times faster than planes can or ships can travel. So then how are they able to actually maneuver away from their last known position in time before your strike gets there? I'm not sure how that's going to be possible. I should have used my heal there, by the way. We're flying over Wisconsin, we're flying through Essex, we're flying over Guden, we're also flying over, Castilla as well. No problem, no problem. We'll just go in and strike this guy yet again. In fact, I believe this is going to result in more focus on one individual target. This is going to allow you to, with impunity, strike one person over and over and over again until they're dead. Because it doesn't matter how many AA ships are around, as long as you have enough plane HP to get through your 5-second window that the AA has to deal damage to your strike before it drops it. This poor Wisconsin player is going to lose so much HP even through his automatic AA defenses here. Now we get locked by fighters, and that is a real threat. Fighters are actually able to deal damage to your planes in travel mode. That is the only time in travel mode you actually can take damage to your planes. So for the carrier player, it really comes down to two things that you're worried about. You're worried about the math, the just very basic math in the background that is this aura AA damage. And number two, you're worried about fighter plane positioning. And that's it. That's all you really have to avoid is fighter planes. And other than that, you just walk over to people, you line up the perfect angle to strike with, and you strike over and over and over again. Interestingly, with this travel mode, they've also increased the speed of aircraft. So while you're in travel mode, you're going faster than you've ever gone before with your aircraft, leading to more strikes more often. And since you don't have to worry about any sort of AA flying over AA, you're quicker to the target you want to strike, and you don't have to worry about overlapping AA bubbles while you're in travel mode. Here we're quite easily able to cross-torp this Alvaro with our friendly carrier. Yes, PTS, they do have multiple carriers, but we're also cross-torping him with our friendly Shimakaze. That's a big problem, because carriers have always had this ability to set up a crossfire anywhere at any time. Much like we do here, Shima torps cross with our torps, and he dies to the Shima torpedoes. This is a massive problem. It leads to more passive games. It means that carriers impact the battle negatively. It means that carrier games are dramatically different to games without carriers. Like no other class, carriers do impact the battle negatively. They result in more passive games because if you're forced to deal with a crossfire, you have to think about taking damage from a crossfire at any time the carrier can walk over to you and set up that crossfire. You have to be paying attention to that as a surface ship player. And how do you deal with it? Well, you play more passive. I see people talk about carriers and airstrikes and that helping to deal with the island camping meta. I would ask you to consider what happens when people are no longer able to use the island cover on the map to prevent crossfires. What do they do then? I think the logical conclusion would be that they're going to camp the back of the map. If they can no longer use the island cover, then they have to use extreme range to give them the potential to dodge. And that's boring. And I think that's one of the reasons we see a lot of passive games here. I'm very, very, very disappointed in this rework, guys. I think a big problem here is also in the early game. This, I think, was my first game playing a carrier in multiple years, actually, was this midway match. And you're going to notice that what we can do is actually go into recon mode, again, get those last known positions, and then we know exactly where they're going to be. We know where they're going to be. We're going to exchange fighters here with this FDR, so one skill check. The one skill check remaining is don't fly into the big red circle that is the fighters. And then we'll go over to the 1, 2, 3 lines and see what's there. I think it's a big problem that we're able to detect things so easily, as well as not be punished for it. There's only a 4-second punish for actually going into recon mode. So they have 4 seconds to deal AA damage to you, and then we can go back up. Now we know the last known positions, and we can easily predict where this Kremlin and Yoshino are going, and easily line up drops on them. I think there should be more of a punish for going in and out of recon mode. You're not even penalized 1 or 2 seconds for going out of travel mode or going out of recon mode. So for the most part, you can go down for 4 seconds, then go back up, and then go down for 4 seconds and go back up. And you're optimizing then your time in recon mode. If there was a penalty, a longer duration, maybe every time you go back out of recon mode, you lose a couple seconds. So ideally, you're trying to go in recon mode more intentionally. I don't know. We're also able to very easily turn around here within the AA bubbles. Yes, this is a bot. There were lots of bots on the test server, but that's the testing Wargaming is doing here. This is what we're able to do. Turn around within AA, perfectly line up drops, and go in for them. Notice I don't have a great angle here. This Yoshino looks like he's angling to our drop, so I can just fly around and get a more appropriate drop angle. I'm not good at carriers, guys, but you don't have to be good at carriers to click on people from 2 kilometers away. Or sorry, I'm starting my drop 1 kilometer away from this guy. Now, another thing they talked about here, going back to their stated goals. Terrible drop again by me. I suck, okay? But one of their stated goals was they wanted to make it easier for surface ships to tell when planes were a threat to them or not. In this travel mode, in this attack mode, in this recon mode, your planes are so high up, and you're often starting your strike so close to enemy ships that the view, the field of view doesn't even give you time or the perspective to even see where the planes are. It's just an arrow on the side of your screen or the top of your screen letting you know there's planes directly above you. And that's in travel mode. And they can start their strike a kilometer away? Are we serious? What is going on? How did they possibly think that this was a reasonable thing to add to the game? I can't believe it. Now in this clip I want you to notice that the Ohio goes dark. The Ohio just went dark, and he's not going to be spotted until we drop him again. There's not a lot of skill involved in this. Maybe there is. Perhaps I'm underestimating the amount of skill here. But all we have to do is predict where this Ohio is going in the next 30 seconds, right? Oftentimes battleships have a 15 to 20 second rudder shift. So how can he maneuver enough in time to throw off my drop here? He hasn't been spotted. Now he's spotted. We go in for our strike. I could optimize this further by starting in recon mode for a second and then going in for a strike when I know it's safe. Or if I've mistimed it, then 4 seconds later I can go back up into travel mode and turn around in his AA and be immune to that AA damage. Did you notice that, by the way? After our drop, we just wandered our way into Worcester AA. But it had no effect on us because the AA does not impact us in travel mode. It's... it's so unbelievably broken and not balanced and not fair that it's difficult for me to explain it. If it was closer to being balanced, if it was closer to good game design, I think I could do a better job of making this video. This is a big problem I've had in trying to outline the issues with this update, with this rework. It's so busted, it's so unfair, it's so poorly designed that it's difficult for me to articulate why, because it's so obviously bad for the game. And that's a problem, because people think this is okay. People think this is going to be good for the game, and I just don't see it. I suppose the one thing is intentionally spotting enemy destroyers is a lot harder. So for DDs, it is going to be an improvement, but it's still a problem that the plane spotting isn't minimap only. I think it's a really big problem, actually. Being minimap only spotting means, sure, we know where ships are going, so they don't have the advantage of being able to surprise people with their positioning, early game, mid game, late game. But at least with minimap only, you can't start getting shot at as well in these crossfires being set up. I've been playing some other games along the lines of this one recently, right? Something like World of Warships Legends, which is the console game. And you know what they did with their aircraft carriers? Well, they massively buffed the strikes, so there's still problems there. They're insane DPM now. But they made it so that the plane spotting is minimap only. And it's been wonderful. It's been amazing. Early game, you get a general sense that, oh, there's a battleship or a cruiser going to that flank. But that's it. You don't actually get the chance to shoot at them. It's really been wonderful to be able to traverse the map early game, get into positions that otherwise the cross-mapping, overmatching, sniping battleships would be honestly preventing you from getting into a lot of the time. You would take half health or even die before even getting close to that island positioning that you rely so much on in your Des Moines, for example. It prevents that from even being an option for those cross-mapping battleships because the plane spotting is minimap only. There are plenty of other problems with carriers, like the ability to focus on one target in particular, the ability for carriers to have very little interaction with surface ships. I quite literally do not care what these surface ships are doing. All I'm doing is walking up to them 2-3 kilometers away, clicking mouse button 1, and then once we get our reticle over top of them, we click it again. That's all I care about. There is no interaction here. There is no PvP engagement here at all. And that's a big problem. But the spotting was another massive issue. And unfortunately, minimap only spotting would do a better job of dealing with the spotting issue. And if we kept our current system of damage, I think we would have a better time with the AA system we currently have. This rework is so broken that a simple change of minimap only spotting and change nothing else about our current system would be worlds better than this CV rework. They have spent years working on a rework, and all they had to do was flip plane spotting over to minimap only, and it would have been a much, much better job. It's incredible. It's incredible how much time was spent on this and how poorly it's been executed. Okay, I gotta calm down. I made it 20 minutes before I... close. We nearly got there. But let's go back to these stated goals at the start. Right. They want to reduce spotting overall and remove unintentional spotting by aircraft. I think this is generally better. It still has the problem of whenever you're striking, whenever you're in recon mode, the enemy ships are spotted for everyone, and those crossfires become a massive, massive problem. Minimap only plane spotting would massively improve this and would be way, way better than whatever they've come up with here. Really, really sad to see the lack of understanding there on Wargaming's part. The other thing they wanted to do was make AA more impactful. I think they've just done the opposite. It's way less impactful feeling to have your AA not even engage planes that are hovering your ship that then get to turn around for as long as they want to line up the perfect angled drop on you. That is terrible. It does feel more impactful because every plane you take down is directly reducing the damage from your strike. But considering all the healing that they've added to all these plane squads, the speed, I don't see this being a positive here. In fact, it's a buff to Hildebrand here because you're guaranteed pretty much, again, replay bug on the aim. This was directly on him. You're guaranteed to get all your bombs off on a Hildebrand drop like that. It's crazy. As soon as you have a heal, you're guaranteed all your planes survive through to your drop. If you don't have a heal, you're going to lose one, maybe two, and still get your drop off. And more importantly, you're getting your drop off at the perfect angle. And for those of you who think, oh no, aircraft carriers, no such thing as portable crossfires. Look at this Vampire 2. What's he doing? He's angling to my torpedoes, trying to slow down in his smoke, and he gives broadside to a Rhode Island. That's a crossfire, okay? Are these things that I have to define for people? I don't understand. Okay, calm down. Last, let's show Wisconsin absolutely getting tortured here. AA build, notice our automatic AA is active currently, and we're just going to get absolutely smashed. We're going to get up, I think, 150k plane damage. We're on 30k right now. You're about to see me get absolutely tortured here, and there's nothing I can do about it. You're going to notice that they're able to turn around their squads quicker than I'm able to shift my rudder. So dodging has become a thing of the past here. This is a situation where carriers just get to do whatever they want to you with impunity, and there's just nothing. There is nothing you can do about it. And that sucks. That sucks, man. My favorite game here is getting absolutely annihilated by poorly defined reworks, poorly made reworks, in fact, with good defined goals that are never to actually hit. And I'm sad. I'm really sad, guys. I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm disappointed, but I'm sad. I'm sad that this game is going in this direction and that Wargaming seems to have missed yet again the problem with carriers. The problem with this class is that there's no interaction. There's no player control. All it is aura damage now. It's all taken out of your control. And it's all up to the carrier to, one, build for plane HP, because that's all that matters, is dealing with the mathematically defined aura damage that your AA is now. And for the carrier player to take the time to line up perfect drops on you every single time. And they can do it very easily because they buffed plane speed. So now they get to come over faster. They get to your ship faster. They're able to turn around in your AA, so they can turn around and drop again much quicker than before too. This is the exact opposite. This is nightmare fuel. This is like, how could I possibly make carriers as frustrating as possible and make the gameplay as boring and one-sided as I physically possibly can, this is what I would come up with. I don't even know if I could get this bad if I was trying, but it's impressive. It is honestly impressive how poorly Wargaming have done this. And I'll be honest with you guys, this is so disappointing that I got to figure out what I'm going to do with this YouTube channel. If this is the way Wargaming is going, the ships are just constantly power creep, and the least fun game mechanics are continually getting buffed and pushed to the forefront. I don't know, man. Maybe I got to start. I've been playing World of Warships Legends. Maybe I need to make some videos on that game again. If you guys want to see that, let me know. Let me know. Obviously, in the comments down below, let me know what you think about these carrier reworks. Let me know what you think about alternate content for this channel. But this is bad, man. This is so bad that I really do have to reconsider this. I'm fortunate enough that you guys watching, I'm very lucky, very blessed that you guys watch and that viewership actually pays my bills. I'm very, very lucky to have that. But I can't make content on a game like this that's so unbelievably frustrating all the time. And the problems with it just keep getting worse. It's really difficult to make good content on a game like that. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I can still make content on this game. I still really like this game, guys. I really like it. It's not a case of me just hating the game. I like this game a lot. It's been my favorite game for years. It's just really sad to see the direction it's going. Honestly, it's really surprising to me that this sort of gameplay appeals to anyone. This is a PvP game. There is no PvP here. This is just like a single player experience, except uniquely designed to grief the people trying to play the PvP experience. Maybe that's too harsh, perhaps, but that's what this class seems to be. Every single change regarding this is designing it more and more to single out one player, allow carriers to, with impunity, avoid AA, avoid getting punished. Like in the current system, which is already terrible, the current system of AA, a carrier can take damage to its entire squad. So if you fly into a clump of enemy ships, you lose your squad. If you try and turn around a bunch of times within that clumped up AA, you lose your squad. Sure, they regen, so you're not really punished, but you at least can't drop again for a little bit, and the speeds are slower too. You have a limited boost gauge. Like, they're making the planes faster. They're making it so AA does less damage. They're making it so you can line up a drop perfectly. There is no consideration to lining up your drop 6-8 kilometers away to stay out of AA bubbles. In fact, what's the point of long-range AA bubbles if we're starting our drops at 3 kilometers away, 2 kilometers away? Why do ships get 6.6 kilometer AA bubbles, 6.9 kilometer AA bubbles, 6 kilometer AA bubbles? Why? If we're starting our drops 2 kilometers from the target, and that's the only time AA impacts. I'm at a loss, guys. I'm at a loss. Wargaming clearly doesn't listen to me. They clearly don't care about the surface ship players in this. They care, I guess, about carrier player and population, and that's it. So it's always been like that. I should not have gotten my hopes up. I knew better than this. I knew better than this, man. This is exactly how the last rework went too, by the way. It was such a horrible, dumbed down design that allowed for more players to more easily target out and specifically do damage to people. At least with RTS carriers, it was so difficult. And there were way more counters, like defensive fire actually giving you max dispersion drops, where now defensive AA doesn't do that. All it does is buff your flak damage and your continuous damage. But primarily your flak damage is like 300% on flak, only 50% or 100% on continuous. So the flak was the main buff of D-Fire. Guess what they removed in this? Flak, of course. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. This is maybe not surprising, but this is like kind of surprising at how bad it is. I don't know what to do. Again, let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is yeah, I got some stuff to figure out as far as content goes. It's that bad. I actually have to reconsider the future of making content on this game. Maybe it's Legends. Maybe, I mean, let me know. Maybe you're interested in Mir Karabli stuff. I've seen some dev vlog videos in that from Flamu, and the changes there are kind of wild. but they look positive in the direction some of the time. Like their recent changes with radars and hydros and planes and subs at least look positive. This is like more gameplay, more interaction. This is the opposite, man. But maybe that's overreacting too. I'm gonna end the video now. I'm tired of. I don't want to make complainy, ranty videos. I don't want to just be downer on the game. Okay, that's what this entire video has been. Thank you for watching the end, by the way. I'm just ranting right now. But if you're interested, that's why I have to reconsider. I could make negative, complainy, ranty, outrage content on this game, but that would wear me out. That's not what I want to make. That is not what I want to make at all. I'll make it from time to time with these carrier videos because it's just that bad, and Wargaming needs to do something. They need to change course here. This is insane. Insane that they're going in this direction. Maybe not surprising, but it is insane. And it's not the kind of content I want to make. I want to make more interesting, positive content. Like on Gambia, man. Like I got to make a positive video on Gambia because you can earn that ship for free by playing the game, and the ship is good and interesting, but it's not overpowered, it's not busted, it's not game breaking. Like, that's what I want to make content on, man. I want to be positive about the way you can get a ship, and I want to be positive on the gameplay experience for you playing the ship, and I want to be positive on the gameplay experience for those playing against the ship. And that is in very short supply these days to get all three of those. Very short supply. It's disappointing. But that's going to do it. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.